Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CallTower CT podcast. This is Herbert. I'm the host, and with us today we have William Rubio. He is the Chief Revenue Officer here at CallTower. And our topic today is going to be contact center, and specifically contact center as a service and how it integrates with UCaaS or unified communications as a service. So I think the first question that we have for you, William, is what exactly is CCaaS? What is the industry looking like today? Does it look different than it did 2 years ago, maybe? What do you think?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Thanks again for having me on. It definitely looks a lot different, right? I mean, traditionally, contact center. It used to actually even be called call center years ago because it was really just for folks answering calls of customers or vendors coming in. And then over the years, it did change to contact center because there was different methods or different ways that you could communicate with your customers, right? We went from just voice to actually being able to do it through text messaging, through email, through web chat, right? So a lot of different more what they call channels that you're able to go ahead and actually communicate and work with your customers back and forth to either let them buy stuff, let them resolve an issue that they have, let them set up a meeting for maintenance on a car, right? Or an appointment at a medical office. I mean, all those different things that can be done. So there's definitely been a change on that over the last 15, 20 years. And then primarily there was two different ways that you could actually get contact center in your organization. You could either buy the platform and just have it prem based, which means that the actual brains of the system sits within your office, or you could actually have it in a data center and you can manage it. So there's really three options. Or the third is what is called contact center as a service, which is C, which means it is hosted by somebody else, by a provider. And then at that point, you're getting the services and connecting back and forth. But the brains of it sits within these specialized data centers that the brains of it sits for that third party provider that they're sitting there. So a little bit different overall than what it's been lately. And the nice thing with it is that you're starting to see that really kind of a little bit of a rush to get to a CCaaS type of deployment, because when the pandemic hit, only about 10% of organizations worldwide had contact center in the cloud.
Right.
And Gartner has come out and said that number is going to be about 50% by the end of 2022, which means that there's going to be a big mad rush. We've seen that with the demand that we've seen over the last year, going back to March of 2020 overall. So definitely a big difference that we're starting to see on that. I think that number is going to continue to increase. But when contact center as a service, what we're finding is that unified communications, which is primarily more like the telephony aspect of it for every user, the instant messaging, the video, the conferencing, the mobile app, those type of things, is really now being merged into contact center as a service. So
which makes sense from a collaboration standpoint. If you have a contact center associate who's taking calls from customers, they might need to escalate it to a superior. They might need to ask a specialist about the exact problem. So it makes sense that they would have the collaboration tools within their same wheelhouse in order to move things forward.
That is correct. Yep, that is exactly correct. They would want to go ahead and just have everything together, because you do have to communicate with folks that are part of your organization but do not have the contact center application. So you want to make sure that you can communicate with them with the same application overall. So somebody might have Cisco with CallTower, somebody might have CT Cloud Voice with CallTower, somebody might have Microsoft Teams with CallTower as their core voice. And then, okay, now I got a 200 person organization, but 20 people in the contact center, or a 1,500 person organization, but maybe 200 in the contact center. How do those people communicate back and forth effectively, understanding that those 200 or those 20 people in the contact center need some more sophisticated features overall? And that's what we were able to go ahead and bring to the table for them, is to go ahead and make sure that we could give them kind of both within one. So really kind of bundle it and package it together.
Excellent. And does the pricing vary? Like I imagine that the price for those 20 people might be a little bit different for the price for the 200 people.
It does. I mean, there's actually been a little bit of a convergence in the industry that prior to, I would say, the last few years, the small to medium sized business, and I call the small to medium anywhere up to about 1,000 users. And then I would say medium is probably about 1,000 to about 3,000, and then you get really into the enterprise. But to the small to medium sized business, it was somewhat that was a little bit unaffordable. It was a lot easier just to buy something prem based. But with the emergence of some of the CCaaS organizations that are out there, that has really changed over the last several years. On the flip side, the enterprise customers before always were, no, I have to feel it, see it, touch it. I got to manage it because of different regulations. And that's obviously changed because their resources have also been limited. And also the flexibility that a contact center as a service platform brings has changed substantially. And now they're actually starting to say, you know what, I could actually go to the cloud as well and not have to worry about it. So you're starting to kind of see that convergence of both the small to medium and also the large enterprise going to it as well.
Fantastic. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And it makes sense that, the level playing field or the unlevel playing field with coronavirus is really factored into pricing for both of those sets. So in that vein, you kind of mentioned that CallTower has different approaches to how UCaaS and CCaaS can kind of interact with each other. What seems to be the deciding factor or the differentiator for CallTower that really sets CallTower apart from the competition as far as integrating CCaaS and getting that all rolled out?
Yeah, I think with CallTower, one of the advantages and the reasons why we've been so successful is that customers are looking for a bundled deployment. There has been also more of a convergence of CCaaS and UCaaS really coming together. So companies don't want to go out there and have to manage different vendors. They're looking more for that end-to-end solution that they could say, if you're doing the deployment for my 200 or my 1,000 users, why aren't you doing it also for my contact center employees?
Right.
And then this way, I basically have one design, one trusted partner, provider that I can work with, that if there's an issue, if there's a change, they know my entire design instead of me trying to manage multiple different vendors. Also, it does add for more seamless integration between those platforms. So for example, we have our CT Cloud Contact Center, and then we have any of our core UCaaS platforms like Teams or Cisco or CT Cloud Voice that we could integrate our contact center with, similar with our partnership with Five9, that we could integrate the Five9 contact center into our deployment of our UCaaS. So customers really like that because they know that they're going to basically get economies of scale. They're going to get better pricing. They're going to get better support. They're also going to be able to get that 24/7 support, the design and the expertise behind the system to actually make sure that it's working right, and that the adoption, which is very important, that the adoption from their employees is there, because you want to make sure that, yeah, I'm paying for the tools. I want to make sure that my company is using them, because if they are, my productivity goes up, which means my growth goes up and my operational expense goes down.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. And so part of kind of the CallTower culture of what sets us apart from the competition is, it, like you said, the support structure that's really robust, and the training structure, and the fact that, yeah, you only have one person to interact with. You have someone who's on your side, who's taking care of you. You don't have to go to both Microsoft and to a separate CCaaS vendor to figure out whatever's going wrong with your system if you do in fact have a problem. And you do also have failover systems as well. And if you're working with Teams, if Microsoft goes down, you have ways to work around the issues, which is really fantastic. So
yeah, it's great to really have some some failover and business continuity options for the customer, both for the UCaaS users and the contact center as a service users as well. So you want to have that. Also, you want to make sure that you have a lot of CRM integration options, which we do.
Right.
Probably every customer retention tool like Salesforce, Zendesk, Dynamics, ServiceNow, HubSpot, all the major ones that are out there. We're able to go ahead and set that up and design that for our customers.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think that actually wraps things up for us as far as CCaaS. Thank you so much for joining us today, William. I'm sure we'll have a lot more information in the future. We're going to have a few more episodes coming down the pipe in the next few months. So we appreciate you and your time, and thank you all for listening. Have a fantastic day, and check out CallTower's website at calltower.com.